Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I love you all. My name is miahtheking, and yesterday I couldn't figure out how to put my seatbelt on, then it clicked. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and I encourage you to stick around and join my kingdom. Why? Because of the funny one-liner jokes at the start of each video, of course, and if not, then perhaps because I'm one of the few reviewers out there who can help you figure out if you need a game in 10 minutes or less. Don't believe me? Then stick around and find out. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called 2 Point Museum, another game from the same developers who brought us 2 Point Hospital, and for those of you who have heard me say before that I don't trust or agree with the buying it early mechanic now introduced to Steam, you are correct. I am against it, and said I'd never use it. However, here's my reason why I used it here. These devs, unlike all the others so far that I've seen, have actually decided not to overprice the early access copy of the game, only charging an extra $10 to get the game early. Now that is an idea process that I can support, and so have chosen to do so. Okay, so with all that out of the way, 2 Point Museum was developed by 2 Point Studios and published by Sega, released not in early access and selling for $30 or $40 if you purchase it right now. See, now that's a price tag that I could support instead of $100 for a $70 game, am I right? So what even is this game anyway? Well, did you ever play 2 Point Hospital? Now switch it up with a museum and here you have your game. But if you never did, then this is one of those simulator games which require you to build and customize your own whatever. Could be a hospital, a museum, a restaurant, an army base, who knows? Oh, that'd be cool. A futuristic army base. Call it 2 Point Sci-Fi. Anyway, it's got your typical stuff, similar to older games like Zoo Tycoon or Planet Zoo. You have this thing, right? And in this case, it's a museum. And in this museum, you have to place down exhibits to bring in people, set down information hubs, vending machines, a gift shop, a bathroom, decorations, and a shit ton more. All to increase your overall value, which allows you to increase your revenue, which allows you to expand more and more, and over, etc., etc. Unlike a lot of those games, however, this one comes with a little bit of a story, objectives, a reason for being there, and a purpose for why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, it's not anything deep, like, my great-grandfather, twice removed on my father's side, who disowned me due to my Tylenol addiction, passed away from super AIDS, and after devouring a turkey leg raw, I now have to rebuild his old museum to honor his memory. No, it's nothing like that. It's just the old guy ran off because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, and now it's abandoned, so now it's your turn, fix it up. The point is, it's at least got a reason why you're even here and doing all this. So as always, let's dive right into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts, alright? So, the first positive point in my opinion is the artistic design. I actually thought it was charming and quirky in their last game, and I find it the exact same here, which might actually be a bit of a downside to some, considering there's literally zero change or zero improvement over their last game in terms of graphical fidelity, but it still looks good, with great artistic design and detail with every little thing. I love the animations, I love the color choices, and the animations are smooth and beautiful to behold as well, so overall, it was just nice to watch and nice to look at the entire time I was playing. Next up is sound design. So just like their last game, the sound effects and the music are definitely on point. They sound realistic for what you're expecting, determining the situation in front of you, and the music sounds pleasant but also bouncy while seamlessly blending into the background properly as you'd want it to do so. They also have voice acting, quite a decent amount of voice acting coming in the form of radio talk show hosts and a lady on the intercom announcement speakers who's very sassy and says what we'd all be thinking if we were in her situation. She does a good enough job overall, and I'd say the same for the rest of the sound effects. Fits perfectly for the game though. Next up is the gameplay. Now, I could continue my trend of comparing this game to their last one, but I can't really do that here. They've changed up a few things, obviously. I mean, this isn't a hospital anymore, it's a museum, and with that comes a whole new way to play. Instead of quality of care or timely assistance or comforting rooms, you get buzz and knowledge points for your exhibits. The more fancy they are, the more decorated they are, and the more creative you get with your museum, and the more buzz you'll create, which gives you, 5-star reviews, and that'll increase your revenue, and blah, 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 blah. But that's not all. The game also offers you expeditions in the form of other games like Jurassic World did, where you have to send out your archaeologists to discover new things to add to the exhibit. My all-time favorite being this weird, amalgamated dinosaur skeleton that looks like something out of my nightmares. Now, don't get me wrong, Triceratops head on a Stegosaurus body is pretty badass, but is that a hammer? What the fuck? Well, regardless, you have to send your scientist out into the wilderness to explore and find stuff like this dinosaur, and then you assemble it back at home and finally put it on display. Love it. While out on an expedition, your team may encounter an obstacle and you'll have to make a decision to help them navigate the danger safely or else suffer the consequences. Love it. So it adds a whole new dynamic to the gameplay that we're already previously experienced with their last game. But besides this, it's very similar to the last one, with different rooms doing different things depending on what you need and really letting you customize and create the experience you want. So also like the last game, I liked it a lot and was having a blast figuring out all the different stuff as well as experiencing it. Though I gotta say, the people are just as weird in this game as they were in the last game. I I don't even know what he's doing. Is he motorboating that thing? I don't understand. I'm not going to ask questions. He do he, I do me, you know, whatever. But let me just wrap up the positives that are left. The user interface, the tutorial, and the stability. The stability of the game was great. Everything was super smooth, worked well, and worked cohesively, and I never once experienced any bugs. No clipping, crashing, FPS drops, or anything, which was super nice. The tutorial is also super nice. It lets you experience the game's quote-unquote story while also introducing you to the game and teaching you the steps one by one while leading you through it, letting you do it yourself so you're actually learning it through action. And the user interface is also really nice to look at. Plus, it's easy to navigate and understand without being crammed with too much needless information or frustrating you in ways you didn't even know were possible. Overall, the game's inner workings and specifics were just very well designed. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is the price tag. I mean, with everything included here and the success and popularity with the last game, I find it super comforting that they didn't overprice this game. They didn't get a big head and charge twice what their last game cost. They kept the price the same. And then obviously the early access price tag, which was also not overly priced, was also just as comforting. In short, the game is worth its asking price, if not probably a bit more. So that's all I can think of to say positively about the game. Now we gotta go into the negatives. But before that, I encourage you to join my kingdom by hitting that subscribe button. Join the kingdom now while we're still small and earn a place of honor when we're thriving. And to help you out, hit that bell too. See, that bell lets you know whenever I put out a new video, and I do so a lot and at very random times with very random games, all to help you save money, but it doesn't help. Like, I can't help you if I don't get to you first. So hit the bell and make sure you stay informed, alright? Alright. Okay, so now on to the negatives. The first negative for me is the mechanics. It's a little awkward here and there. The camera controls specifically. You can't rotate the camera diagonally for some reason, only side to side or up and down. So that's a little annoying. It definitely makes the whole cohesive feel of playing it a little bit more stiff. You can't just move it freely, and that's just a big problem for me personally. Along with placing things with the right click, moving the camera, and canceling what you're currently holding, it does cause some conflict. There's a few other issues with the controls and mechanics, but overall, it wasn't super annoying or bad, but it was a little frustrating. Next up for the negatives is the speed and the engagement of the game. Both are kind of lacking. You'll find yourself sitting there for a decent bit of time rather repeatedly just staring at your screen, waiting for stuff to happen or waiting for money to come in, which will get boring. And the speed of the game has not improved much over the last one, with things taking longer than they should and everything moving at its own pace. I suppose this wouldn't be that big of a problem if your employees actually did their jobs rather than just roaming about randomly when they're supposed to be working, and because the game moves so slow, it takes them forever to get back to work, and the entire time the game is screaming at you over and over again that no one is manning the ticket station. Now, this can definitely get more than a little frustrating when it keeps happening to you over and over again because of the stupid little AI employees you hired. But yeah, that's all I really got. I couldn't think of a whole lot else negatively to say about the game's overall design and development. When I look at each subject individually, I can't even really find anything done that poorly. The game is fairly well designed all around. It's almost an amazing game, it's just lacking in the engagement and speed, as I just mentioned. However, despite those complaints, I still highly recommend checking out this game. It is definitely worth $40 to play it early, so why wait? I mean, it's only an extra $10, and for a game fully finished, with great content, a cool unique idea, a charming personality from developers who've already proven themselves, so I say, why not? So yeah, sum up, I recommend. I think the game is super awesome. I love the dinosaurs, I love the idea, and despite its slow pace, I was actually having fun. Perhaps just put something on the TV in the background while you play to help distract you from those moments of sitting around doing nothing and waiting, alright? But yeah, I liked it. I recommend it. Stop watching, start playing. That's all the time I got for today, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.